I'm Linda from Living Linda Abroad, and today I'm joined by Shirle, who moved to Portugal a little over a year ago, and she's going to be discussing with us her process for moving, also how she financed it. Welcome to the show, Shirle.
Hey, how are you, Linda?
Great, thank you. Thank you for being with me today, and I'm very excited to dive in. So, you moved here, what, a little over a year ago?
Yeah, in March of 23, we moved to Lisbon.
Okay, and why did you decide to move to Portugal?
We had a next door neighbor, and she went on a Bumble date and with this guy, and then she came back the next day, and we met with her on the porch. We were like, "How was your date?" And she said, "Well, the guy's not really going to work out, but I found out about Portugal and like retiring there or moving there, and how wonderful it is from this guy." And so my husband David and I started, researching. I got on American and Friends NPT group on Facebook. We started watching videos, of all the people posting videos like you, and we were like, okay, let's do this because we've always wanted to live in Europe, and also looking at factors like the healthcare system here is, way affordable. It's so safe. We came from Baltimore where there's like a shooting every day. And so for us, safety was a big thing. The cost of everything is about, a quarter less, I would say, than the States. So we knew that we could live for, a simple life here on the amount of money that we, are making. So we are semi-retired. We still own a business in the States, but we're not, working on the floor anymore. We have a cafe record store, and we have people in place that's managing it. We're in touch with them every single, week, number of times during the weeks. But anyway, we came to Portugal because of the lifestyle, and we love the people here, and we love the food and the culture and the laid back lifestyle.
You mentioned that you're semi-retired and you own a cafe. I'd love to know a little bit more about that too. So I'll ask that after this question. But how are you financing your move here?
Okay, so we are not fully retired. So I am 59 and a half. My husband is 50. He just turned 57. So we own a business in Baltimore. We still have paychecks coming from that. And we also own a house in Baltimore that we are renting out. And that is helping us pay for most of the rent at our current apartment. We're not in a position yet or ready to sell our house or sell off the business. So we're just kind of coasting along, and everything's running pretty smooth. And like I said, we're living a pretty simple life. We're not extravagant people. We don't make a whole lot of money.
Between the rental of your house and the paychecks you still receive from your cafe, that pretty much finances your living here. And do you have savings that you're putting into that, or that pretty much covers it?
Yeah, we have savings like from our house that we're renting. We put away like $300 a month into a savings account just in case something happens with the house that we need to get, a water heater, whatever. We put that money away to save. We're also saving, still saving money. We still invest money. In stocks that we have, and just kind of trying to live as simply as possible, still traveling over here, which is very inexpensive, as you know.
Mhm.
Taking a flight to Spain or taking a flight to Italy or whatever is extremely affordable compared to living in the States and making those trips.
Do you find that your cost of living are less expensive here than they were when you were in Baltimore? And if so, what percentage do you know?
I would say it's at least a quarter less expensive to live here than it was in the States. There's certain things are way less expensive. Like number one, we don't own a car. So we don't have a car payment, car insurance. We don't have to pay for gas or repairs. We take public transportation or we walk everywhere. And because we're in Lisbon, which is one of the reasons why we chose Lisbon, was the mass transit and the awesome public transportation that's here. Also to be near the airport if we want to take a trip and stuff, we don't have to make a big ordeal to get to the airport. Not having a car is hugely beneficial. Also, our insurance in the States, we were with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and we had both of us together were paying about $750 to $800 a month for our basic plan with a $6,000 deductible and a $50 copay anytime we went to the doctors. So we were both thinking if something major happened to us, we'd probably lose our house business, just because our coverage it was okay, but who knows if they can deny you and all that stuff. So here we have private health insurance. We decided to get, you don't need to get that, but we decided to get private health insurance. It's combined together. It's like a little over $200 a month. And when we go to the doctor, it's like if we go to our regular GP, it's like a $35 copay, and then that's it. Like that's all we have to pay, and to get tests and to get blood work and all that stuff. It's been pretty incredible with the cost of that. I did have a major operation back in February, and I got put under. It was an outpatient thing, but I had to go in the morning. I was out by the early evening, and the total cost for that with my private health insurance at the private hospital came to 350 euros, whereas that procedure in the States probably would have cost me at least 5,000. And so that was a big factor of saving money for healthcare. And then food here as well is very, very inexpensive. As you can get a really nice bottle of wine for under €5. And then the best seafood, the best fresh fish ever. And so we eat a lot of fish and we eat a lot of fresh vegetables and get them from the local market. I just went to the grocery store this morning and got a huge bag of stuff, and it came to 24 euros. And it was shampoo, soap, 4 different vegetables, a 6-pack of water, 4 bags of frozen fruit for smoothies. And yeah, it was 24 euros. That's awesome. Yeah, definitely saving money.
Just to be clear, you mentioned that you're paying 200 euros per month for your insurance premium. Is that each, or is that for both of you?
For both of us together.
Oh, wow.
And that's through a company called Medis, MEDIS. And then we also have dental insurance we got as soon as we moved here because COVID had kind of stopped us from going to the dentist because we were just too close, people too close, and my mouth open and stuff. And I was just So we immediately found a dentist in our neighborhood, and they are freaking top notch. They are so good. And we pay, I think it's 121 combined for the year. We pay the insurance through them. And then the procedures, we get free teeth whitening twice a year. We get free cleanings twice a year. We get 1 X-ray checkup once a year for free. And then everything else, I looked at their cost of a root canal. It's 800 euro with a crown, with the crown procedure. And I'm that would be easily $2,000 in the States.
Wow. What is the name of that company? I think I have to look into it as well.
And I think they're around all over Lisbon, but they're called Medi Dental, MEDI Dental. And also we go to a clinic for our regular GP, and within the clinic they have an OBGYN, they have a dermatologist, they have a nutritionist, and that is called MeMed.
What was your moving process? Did you get rid of everything and start afresh here, or did you move some things here?
We sold off almost everything except for artwork, things that we couldn't replace that were sentimental. We brought no furniture whatsoever. My husband, because we have a record store cafe, he brought over we went through his record collection and we sold off a bunch. He had 3,500 records and we
Wow.
brought 250 with us. We bought flight cases for them and shipped them at a great company out of Newark. If you're on the East Coast, it's a company called Portugalia Sales, and
Mhm.
they are a importer company to the States with Portuguese ceramics. And so when they have an empty container, you can ship things back with them. And it's kind of incredible. We shipped 50 cubic square feet of things like books, journals, records, some cookware, like cast iron skillets. I was like, I'm not parting with these. Some china we had, a silver set that was given to me by my bonus mom, stuff like that, like art. We had two big boxes of framed art. And so anyway, shipping all of that over through them was only $350. It was incredible. We packed everything up at our house. We loaded it into a van, rented a U-Haul van, and drove to Newark from Baltimore, which was like an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. And then they just took everything out of the van. And within 2 to 3 months, I think it was 3 months it took to come over. And I even put trackers, Apple trackers, in some of the boxes of the more expensive stuff. And I could see it like traveling. So
Wow.
I knew when it was in Portugal, I was like, oh, look, the boats, here in Portugal. And another thing is, there was no need to fill out a sheet of what was in the boxes. Like, I was like kind of shocked that there was no like manifest list of what I was shipping. But they said, nope, you don't need that. Just give us the boxes and we'll ship it over. And then they delivered it to our apartment.
All for 350 euros?
Yes. I
Wow.
think they've gone up a bit. And this was in February of 23. I think somebody told me they've gone up since then. But it's nothing like you pack, we ship and all that, where people are spending thousands of dollars.
I just you pack, we ship, and now I'm saying I should have done a little bit more research.
Yeah, Portugalia Sales out of Newark, New Jersey. And they are located in an area called Little Portugal, which we knew nothing about. We didn't know it was there, but it's all Portuguese businesses and restaurants everywhere. So we were like driving through the neighborhood with our van and like, look at this. Like, this is amazing. I didn't know this was here. We basically sold off everything as soon as we knew we were making the move for sure. We had about 10 months and I started posting up every day. I was posting up stuff on Facebook Marketplace. And we had about 3 yard sales as well. But Facebook Marketplace was amazing. I mean, I would post something up, and within an hour, people were writing, "Hey, I'd like that," or whatever, and then they'd come over and get it, pay cash or Venmo or PayPal, and off it went. And then I gave some stuff to family as well. Like, I had a huge upright 1929 piano that I had since I was 4. So I gave that to my grandnephews. Some other musical equipment gave to the kids. Yeah, it was just getting rid of everything, purging. And I was a collector. I'm a maximalist. My husband's a minimalist. He could live with just records and a record player and be happy. And I had like 102 egg beaters, like antique egg beaters. As you can see, I have them tattooed on me because I love them. Um,
Uh-huh.
Lots of collections of things, um,
Uh-huh.
and just being able to release all that. And we had a motto. It was like experiences over things. That was like, I'd rather experience the world than have a house full of stuff that I forget about and I don't even look at half the time because I'm just walking past it.
Awesome. So you mentioned that you have a cafe in Baltimore. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
We've had it for over 8 years now. It's called Babies on Fire, and it's like my baby's hot. She's on fire, not little babies on fire. So Babies on Fire is a cafe record store, similar to what you'd find like a cafe bookstore. So except we sell new and used vinyl records. And in a cafe setting, it's open for breakfast and lunch from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day. We do, breakfast sandwiches, like every single kind of like coffee drink you could imagine, um, and lunch items, paninis, like vegan mac and cheese. We have a whole bunch of vegan and also gluten-free options because we just found like it's better just to have a little bit of everything so anybody could come in and eat.
Mhm.
So
And something like that here?
um, we talked about it when we first moved here, and then we decided no. And I had been a chef I had a personal chef service as well for 25 years. And then I also did food styling for HBO and Netflix TV shows. I was on the mouse wheel, just grinding away every single day, just work, 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 work. And once we got here and kind of got out of that mindset of just like, you've probably heard people say, don't do more than one thing a day here. And we had someone tell us that like the first week, like, don't try to do more than one thing a day. And we were like, what? I'm like, I'll do 10 things in one day. Kind of gotten out of that work, work, work mindset. I mean, we are like available to our staff anytime except when we're sleeping. So we are, we still deal with the staff like on a regular weekly basis, if not more, putting out fires, ordering food. My husband does payroll, taxes. He does all the admin stuff. We're not on the floor anymore. So I was, when you asked, like, have you thought about opening something like that here? I'm like, nope.
You're still involved a little bit with the cafe. How else do you spend your time? What do you do here?
We number one, I had gained a lot of weight, especially being in that 50-year-old range and women's body, and just started packing on pounds. So I've had the luxury now and awesome gift of having time to work out and like actually focus on myself, which sounds selfish to me to say that because that's not where you and I grew up. Like that wasn't a thing. But learning to work out every day, to walk every day, watching what I'm eating, trying to eat way more healthier instead of just grabbing whatever on the go. So having that is a big daily routine for me now. My husband, the same, we both didn't have that time to work out and to like focus on us because we were too busy constantly dealing with the business. I also had started writing a Substack about the clients that I'd cooked for 25 years, like the good, the bad, and the bizarre stories of being a personal chef in people's homes. So I wrote for a year, writing all the stories I could remember. And then I started painting as well. David and I have a record store. We have a lot of old records too. So I started making these little painted mandalas on old records. So I find old scratched records and then just start. Here's one I'm working on right now. So it's a Roxy music record, but just spending hours painting, and it's been really therapeutic and very relaxing and really fun. And I feel like it makes my brain just like get really happy.
Those are really beautiful. Do you just do them for yourself or do you sell them as well?
I'm selling them. I've shipped off 6 of them to the States already from friends when I post them on Facebook or Instagram. I do have a Facebook and an Instagram page now. And I had an art show here in Lisbon as well. I've had 2 actually so far. I'm just trying to get them out there and let people, see them. It's something different, at least for me. I hadn't seen anyone else painting mandalas on old records. Got a couple back there on the wall.
Give me the links and I'll drop them in the description below. And maybe if anybody else is interested, they can look you up.
Yep.
And
I think that's all. And we have a dog. We moved over with our dog, so we're taking our dog out, and he's the happiest he's ever been living here as well. He absolutely loves this place and the country and the people, everybody here. I don't know if you have any pets, but Portuguese people love dogs. They love dogs so much. And we met so many people through Mr. Shivers, our rat terrier, because they'll just come up and just be like, oh, like, boo, like whatever. And then we strike up a conversation, and we literally, he has like introduced us to so many people. It's pretty cool.
That was my next question. How have you adapted? Have you made a community here? So you mentioned through Mr. Shivers. Any other ways that you have met people?
Yeah, before we moved here, I had been on American and Friends in PT Facebook group, and because I was an active poster on there and asking questions and whatnot, when I had stated at one point that I was moving to the neighborhood of Camp Duaric, which is where we live in Lisbon, a number of people said, "Hey, I'm moving to that neighborhood," or "I live in that neighborhood already. And when you get here, do you want to meet up?" So that was really nice because as soon as we moved, I had already kind of set up a community of expat people who had already been here or who had just gotten here or were coming after, like right after we moved here. And some of those people are some of my good friends here. A lot of women, a lot of single women as well, which is kind of incredible to me, like older single people, like, being very adventurous and stuff. There's lots of walking groups that you can join. The expat world here is pretty active, I would say. And then my husband and I, we found a record store cafe in our neighborhood last year, and a friend of ours, an expat friend, said, "You need to go to this record store cafe because these guys are like you." And so we went and met the couple that ran that, and became best friends with them. And they are Portuguese, and through their cafe, we met all these other Portuguese people who are our age and like some music that we like, and are artists and stuff. And now we have this huge Portuguese family, and
That's awesome.
it's so awesome. Like going out with those guys and hanging out, and they all speak English. David and I are starting a 9-month intensive 3-day a week Portuguese classes that the government, uh, offers. And we will get our A1 and A2 certificates when we finish it next June. But besides getting that certificate to try to get dual citizenship down the road at 5 years, it's also because we truly want to be able to speak Portuguese enough to have more in-depth conversations with Portuguese people than just ordering food at a restaurant.
It's so hard. Yeah. I've been through the A2 and I practice my Portuguese every day with a couple of apps and the people that I know. And it's a very difficult language. We'll be studying probably for the rest of our lives.
Totally. But it's they know that it's hard. I mean, the Portuguese people know it's a difficult language. They, when we'll say, Portuguese, like muito difícil, and they'll say sim, like it totally is. And, so they know, but it would be really nice to fully understand and converse and to read. To read a book in Portuguese or read the news clearly without being like, does it say that? Like, sure.
Exactly.
I think learning Portuguese songs is a good way to learn as well. Because like hearing somebody sing words, then it's a little slower. They're not like dropping all the consonants and the vowels, as they do a lot of the time. So I would also suggest to people, if you're into, fado music or whatever, like trying to look at the lyrics while you're listening to the song is helpful.
And where do you like to listen to your music? Do you go on YouTube or do you just try to stick to the cafe that you've been going to?
Well, live music, we will, see things posted or whatever, and, try to go to a concert. We're going to a concert next month at a big event, a big, beautiful theater called Tivoli, and seeing a traditional Portuguese singer there. So we're kind of excited about that. But we buy records, we buy Portuguese records and listen to them at home. Some Brazilian, which the pronunciation's different, some of the words are different. And streaming some stuff as well. Just try to learn, like hear things from all over the place.
Very good. So tell us a little bit about the process of bringing Mr. Shivers over.
So he's 12 years old. Well, he turned 12 this July, so he was 11 when we moved him over here. We were more nervous than we needed to be to move with him. He first thing we had to do was to take him to our vet, which was a USDA certified vet, which is what you need to have. So the vet put an EU chip in him, although he already had a US chip. Put the EU chip in, sent the paperwork to the Portuguese consulate, and then they overnighted back to him, the paperwork that we needed to have to enter the country with him. So we had to do this 10 days before we were leaving. It had to be done. It could be no more than 10 days because they wanted to make sure he's up on all of his shots and up to date. So we had to do that. We had to book him on the plane. So we flew on tap. He went underneath the plane because he was 4 pounds too heavy to be in the cabin. He couldn't fit under the seat, where you put your feet. We had to have a special, not a special, but a flight hard shell flight case for him. He had to be able to stand and turn around in it, which he was. We put food, a little bowl of food. We put a little thing of water in there for him, his treats, a blanket. I also put a tracker on his harness, and I put a tracker in the top of the crate so I could, watch him on my phone where he was in the airport. We paid, I think, 200, and it was like 200 or 250 for his ticket to be on the plane. Underneath the plane, they have a special room that is pressurized. It has a light and it's temperature controlled. So him and his nemesis, Great Dane, were the only two animal passengers on the plane when we flew over. And also with trackers, even though I had the tracker and it kind of showed that he was near us when we boarded the plane, I had the stewardess go and make sure to verify he was definitely on the plane, and he was. And they board the animals last. So they're not like sitting there on the plane underneath, like cold or whatever. So that was nice to know that they were the last things. They also let us stay with him when we went to check in. They said, well, we'll take your bags and check your bags, but stay with him until an hour before the plane leaves. And then we'll come and get him and then have you guys go through security quickly and then get on the plane. When we landed, you go through customs and all that, and then you go down to the luggage carousel area. And that's where they bring him out from the plane. So they unload him and then they bring him into that main room. We had hired a concierge service to pick us up and to help us with our bags and have a van to drive us to the apartment with all of our, 8 bags of clothing and like suitcases and everything. As soon as they brought him out, we were able to take him out of the crate, put his leash on, and then we walked him over to the vet. There's a vet right there. And then she has to scan him to make sure that EU chip is in. And then also hand her the paperwork for him. And the concierge service was so nice that they were able to translate everything for us with the vet because she spoke no English. They were really super helpful with that. And once he was okayed, which took about 5 minutes, we brought him out and they said, you can just walk him through the airport. You don't need to put him back in the crate. So we just walked him with us and walked right past security. And then we were in the van and to our apartment. So it was really stressful for months. We were both kind of like, is Shiver's going to be okay? Because you can't give him drugs. You can't give him anything because they could like get low blood pressure and have something bad happen onto the plane. So we were nervous, but he acted like nothing had happened. I was like shocked.
You also mentioned the concierge service. Could I get the name of that and the link so we can put it in the description for anybody else who's interested in having a concierge service?
And that is, I think they were called We Experience.
Awesome.
They were awesome.
And my last question to you, are there any tips that you would give to somebody who is interested in looking into the journey of moving abroad?
I would say watch a lot of YouTube videos. I mean, there's just hundreds and hundreds of them out there. People who live here, people who love it, people who hated it, who moved, and just check out all the videos that you can. A lot of people will sugarcoat things and make it like, oh, it's the best thing. When you move here, expect to have things happen slowly and not like they did in whatever country you're from. Like if you come from the US and you expect service, like boom, it's not going to happen. So you need to learn patience and just expect, to get in line, take your little number ticket and just wait. And it might take a couple days to get certain things done, but that's just how it is here. And in the long run, you get it done and just chill out.
Awesome. Well, Shirley, I wanted to thank you for being with me today, and I hope to meet you in person soon.
Yes, me too, Linda.